here, and I enjoy coming to Speaker's Corner a bit.
Okay.
But I feel like whenever I come over here, I pour into these circles, and you find two people on both sides screaming at each other.
Yes.
My question to you is, why is that? Is it?
What a good question.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Shabir. You are? My name is Shabir.
Tony.
Tony.
That's right.
Anthony. Short for Anthony.
I'll go by Tony.
That's fine. That's good enough. I'll tell you why this happens. Human beings in general are very emotional creatures. Yeah. And when they think they have to defend something, yeah, even if it is irrational up here, they will defend it. And because there isn't a rational response, the only thing that takes over is the emotional response. And so the voice will start rising. And because the other person seems to think the voice is rising, theirs will start rising. And pretty soon you have a shouting match.
Okay.
And that's what you are seeing.
Why, when it comes down to religion, why do you think people are very emotional about religion? Why is it that you have, sorry.
Yeah, no, please.
Why is it that you have people of all different faiths, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, even it's different denominations, Shia, Sunni, atheists, agnostic, even atheism you have different
They get
branches.
very emotional.
Why do they get emotional? Why is it something about Islam specifically that we cannot have a conversation with, as opposed to, I like this, you know, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Why is it Islam that, like, why is it specifically Islam? I feel like
Sorry to interrupt. Can we move over there?
All right, okay, no problem. Apologies, guys. Walaikum salam. How are
So
you?
nice to see you. I see your videos online all the
Jazakallah,
time. First time I've been here, so
Support us, brother, inshallah.
No, of course,
Yeah?
of course.
Excellent, Jazakallah. So, sorry, Tony.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
fine.
right. Do you know what you said, and you referred to Islam, yeah? Honestly, I would suggest to you that if, whether it's the Muslims or the people who we would consider to be non-Muslims, if they were to read the source material, okay, it will make it very clear that this screaming and shouting should not be done.
It is the case that when Gabriel descended upon the prophet, he says, "Iqra," right?
Yeah.
Read,
Yeah,
learn, get educated, debate, converse. I mean, all these are synonyms with each other.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But it isn't only that, sorry brother. The Quran actually says to you in chapter 16, invite all to the way of your Lord with beautiful preaching and kindness. Now, look, if we think about this, we are human beings by definition, limited in entities. It is natural and logical for us to have disagreements. It's bound to happen. Yeah? And because we disagree, it doesn't necessarily mean that we should take our swords and whatever else out. It just does not make sense. Look, the Creator has endowed us, if we take the position that we accept the existence of a Creator, the Creator has endowed us with reason, logic, rationality. They should take precedence over the emotional element. Because 9 times out of 10 you will find that when a person thinks about things reasonably, you will not have a problem with them. But where somebody emotionally reacts to something, 99 times out of 100, they will have regretted the action they undertook when they were emotional.
So I'm here not to debate with you.
No,
but more to
having
hear
absolutely
from you.
yeah, sure.
And bouncing off of that, and in that spirit, I've got 2 predominant questions. The first is, when I think of Islam, and I really want to hone in on Islam, you can distinguish between the faith and the religion. And by that I mean the faith is the actual belief in Islam, the actual belief in the miracles, the actual belief in the core tenets of Islam. Then you've got the religion, which are the practices, which includes all the sets and practices and the customs. And it can range from prayer 5 times a day, which is the what you have to do, the mandatory, and building up on that is Sunni, to wardrobe and say the hijab or the niqab or dressing modestly or and everything in between.
Yes.
So to you, how do I understand these 2 separate ideas, conceptualizations?
Okay.
What is the core tenet of Islam? What is Islam fundamentally, and how do you characterize the religion?
Right, okay. You know, I have a different view on this. I do not consider Islam to be a religion.
Okay.
Okay? Now, if I were to remove that element, okay, then it becomes a holistic approach. Yeah? Because the Quran itself says that this is a favor that I've conferred on you, al-Islam, okay, and completed and perfected this favor. In other words, as a Muslim, Islam is actually giving you a basis for a life on earth, for the limited existence. Now, in it, we are multifaceted as human beings. And naturally speaking, any guidance that comes must address the multifacetedness that we possess. So, for example, is there something that individually allows me to interact with the Creator? In Islam and in any religion, okay, there is what you would call personal worship.
True. Yeah.
Is there, because we are social animals, yeah, we also interact socially. So is there a collective method? In Islam, yes, there is. There is a limit on it. Times, 5 times a day. Yeah, you know what you refer to as the core tenets. Yeah, what I would suggest is, look, if you look at Islam as a whole, yeah, and part of the whole are the sums in which the interaction of human beings with the natural surroundings, with themselves and with the Creator, all come together.
So what you're saying is that Islam is a way of life.
It's a comprehensive way of life.
It's a comprehensive way of life that includes, let's say, 2 pillars. One is faith, and the second is the social
But
element.
how would you define faith?
Belief in God, belief in creation, belief in... I mean, that is the orthodox
Yeah,
understanding of
well,
faith.
my concern with the word faith is that a lot of people apply it and consider it to mean that ours or my standpoint is in absence of evidence.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that.
It's also funny you mention social animals. You mentioned humans are social animals.
Well,
that is
I put it in.
Aristotelian, right?
Yeah,
That is
I put it in inverted.
Aristotle's concept is that we are political beasts. We are political social animals. We live in social society.
Yes.
We interact with each other.
Yes.
And that is demanding, right? That determines how you talk to people, how you interact with people,
Yes.
how everything.
Yes.
And when you use faith and you use religion to justify the way you do that, that's a big feast. That's a big feast. So you have to justify religion. My question to you is, how do you prove? How do you know God exists? How do you know God exists? Faith is different. I acknowledge faith is difficult. How do you know? How do we know as a society that God exists? Creation is real.
Yes.
In contrast to evolution, in contrast to all different religions, why is it that Islam specifically is correct and builds on the monotheistic Abrahamic religions?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the literature. I just want to hear it from you.
No, I have no problem with that. You see, I would suggest that 2 things first need to be reconsidered or reevaluated. Number 1, the word faith, like I said, if it is in absence of evidence, I do not subscribe to it. So, the word, the word faith, I would put in its place certainty. Okay. Now, certainty can be achieved 2 ways. One is going through a process of logical reasoning and arriving at a position where you can't think any other way except the way that you can think.
Talking through the logical reasoning.
Just to answer the question of the existence of the Creator, we are going to come to. Yeah, I look at it this way. Why Islam? The first thing I would look at, before we come to the reasoning, the first thing I would look at is, what does Islam actually say in relation to all these other religions? Well, the Quran actually, and Islam states that every prophet that came was a Muslim anyway. He submitted his will to the Creator. Each and every prophet that came with the same message that every other prophet brought. It all culminated in the coming of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So if I look at it from that angle on the basis of the evidence available, I would suggest to you that everything is Islam, and wherever there is a demarcation line, that needs to be reconsidered. Are you following?
I do.
Yeah? Right, okay. So, as far as I'm concerned, from the Islamic perspective, all the prophets were Muslims, so they all brought Islam in limited senses up to the finality of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, so I don't have an issue with that. Now, insofar as the question about how do we know there is a creator, the crux of the issue here is this. My view is that I know I'm a limited entity. Yeah? I also know that whatever this being is, yeah, is not going to be part of the natural world. Logic is dictating this to me. Yeah? But there is an issue here. The mind, call it the consciousness, the processes that are working in my mind have led me to understand that there is this subject matter that is discussed, which is known as a creator or a God. Now, obviously, it has entered my psyche. I need to address it. Here is the issue. If the naturalistic world, because my logic is telling me that whatever I can perceive of using my senses surely cannot be one that is more powerful than me. Are you following? Yeah? Any human being, yes, we have got muscular people who are stronger, but when we are talking about this concept of a creator, then we have to understand that logically speaking, you cannot physically find the creator in the created entity.
So I can see an analogy in that, just like the iPhone has a maker, which is Apple, your argument is just like humans have a creator, society, the world, the universe has a creator in the existence of a God, and you use logical deduction to get to that. But at the backdrop of that, we have to address the question of what about the scientific evidence in relation to evolution? What about why? It's one thing to say that okay, we've been created by a supernatural, supra-transcendent entity that goes beyond language, senses, our understanding of logic. But it's another thing to say that this is what he wants, and he talks to us personally. It's a bit like it's a stretch. It's how do you overcome that bridge?
Yeah, I can see. You see, actually, the interesting issue here is this: if I were to say to you, or we were to consider this, that you know what, this creator God has this incredible way of how he created everything. Now, if I were to ask you, okay, what do you think were the mechanics that were employed for the creation, what would we say? We would have to look at the natural world, wouldn't we?
Science, the whole field and discipline of science demands us to look at the natural world. It demands us to hypothesize and through double-blinded tests confirm hypotheses.
Yes.
You start off with a hypothesis, it becomes a theory, and you progress from there.
Yes.
So if our initial hypothesis is the existence of gods, the null hypothesis, how do we prove that?
Right. Here is what I'm saying. You see, if we take, the word science only means knowledge. Okay, the word science actually only means knowledge. The problem we face, respectfully, brother, in the world that we are in today, is that the word science has really been taken over by a certain group of people, and everything in relation to what we would call knowledge is either scientific or quasi-scientific or pseudo-intellectual. Certain words are applied and you are put into a pigeonhole. I would suggest we don't look at it that way. You see, if I use the word science to mean knowledge, does knowledge encompass everything that we can know about the natural world? Yeah. Oh, no, that's the usual. They'll scream and shout at each other. There you are. The screaming has started.
Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry, I know. Yeah. So I would change it, because to me, anything that is knowledge is part of the natural world. Yeah. Now, what we are asking here is, should we start off with the position that there is a creator and then find the evidence to justify it? Or are we saying, wait a minute, let's look at the evidence, and will it take us towards the understanding that there was some intelligence behind it?
Okay, I see where you're going with
Sure.
this. So one position could be, yes, let's look at the natural world. How did this beautiful world come to be, and work ourselves backwards to creation? And maybe if you want to attribute the Big Bang in there, and from there, through the will of God, we've evolved, to put it loosely, to use that word loosely, into what we are right now. But another position could be, well, science, modern science, like the Western tradition of science.
Well, what is considered to be modern science is from 1900 onward.
Yeah, what about the position that we actually were coming slowly but surely to learn about ourselves and to learn about nature and evolution, like the Darwinian theory of evolution is, the facts are substantial, the evidence for that is substantiated through multiple observations across different species.
Okay.
All sorts of stuff, and it's a very elegant solution, saying that survival of the fittest, the best gene, recurred and iterated over hundreds of thousands and millions and billions of years, would progress in such a way to create us. It seems in the big perspective, in the big, when looked at as a whole, it seems like an impressive feat. But if you look at from the micro perspective, it's tectonic shifts moving gradually, surely over time, into what we are right now. I think that in and of itself it's very strong evidence that evolution exists, and I feel like that disapplies core tenets of Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and other creationist theories. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course it does.
How do you respond?
You're absolutely right. But you know what? I don't have a problem with this. I'll tell you why. You see, when we look at evolution on its own, or the theory itself, okay, I would suggest that we consider how this overwhelming evidence you are talking about arrived at being overwhelming evidence. So we are all familiar with the idea, the simplistic one anyway, that for evolution to actually occur, it required the necessary ingredients. Okay? Are we agreed with that?
What do you mean by that?
Right. Basically, what I mean is that evolution could only have begun its process when it had necessary material to be able to do that.
Not quite. I mean, evolution, we are evolving today. Viruses evolve today. The process of evolution is incredibly natural, and it's like developing sophisticated a very simple mathematical model that over time just converges at a peak, at a point that looks so sophisticated, so beautiful, and that things, but again, taken from a very micro level, it's not that. It's such a small, simple, elegant solution.
Agreed.
It doesn't require any conditions. It just happens. Process, as opposed to it's a process as opposed to a requirement.
I have no problem. But you see, I went back to the start point. If I were to tell you, okay, there was a process prior to what we would consider the beginning of evolution, okay? The way we understand it conventionally, okay? There was a situation where life had to begin. Do we agree? Now, if life had to begin, it certainly began from something that was inanimate. Do we agree?
See, I mean, that's the thing. I have a very basic grasp of biology.
All right, I understand.
And it's hard to understand what life is. What does it mean to have a soul? To the extent that souls exist, what does it mean? We're alive, true. I don't deny.
You see,
but we're significantly more complex as organisms.
No, you're right.
Than single-cell organs, right? And you can't deny the fact that single-cell organs are life.
Yes.
Some form of life.
Yes.
but through time it converges into
Yeah.
what we are right now. I give it to you. I don't know how single cell.
That's fine, not a problem, not a problem.
Came to
Yeah.
be. I
Not a
mean,
problem at all.
I'm a reader in history, and I'm,
All right, I see,
I'm
okay.
in the social sciences.
No
There's
problem.
sciences,
Soft
right?
sciences.
I
That's
would
what
say-
they classified
I call
them.
more complex sciences.
I would agree with you.
But,
Yeah.
but it's just saying, having a conversation about faith and having a conversation about
Yeah, yeah.
evolution is one thing. But again, how do you get to the point where you can mandate specific things like you have to pray 5 times a day,
Yeah.
the hijab, the niqab,
Yes,
etc.
excellent.
Is a
Yeah,
proper
sure.
wardrobe
Yes.
that you've got scientific miracles in the Quran, from the embryo to which I
Well,
think are taken from the Aristotelian and Galen
Yeah, yeah, I
accounts and
understand.
its
Yeah, yeah.
accuracies and
Yes.
inaccuracies. It seems like a huge bridge. It's one thing to have faith, but it's a completely separate thing to say that no, like God, this is exactly like we know how God is.
Yes.
And we have a personal relationship with
Yeah.
God, and God's merciful and He's forgiving.
yeah.
These stories happened in the past. There's a heaven and a hell, and you know, in other
Right.
denominations there's purgatory.
Yes.
It's
I would
it's a bit
suggest, yeah, sorry.
out there, you know.
Yeah,
It's a bit
no, it sounds
too
out there.
flamboyant
It does.
and colourful.
It sounds out there. But what I would suggest is that unfortunately, from what I'm hearing of you, is what I would consider to be what is known as the normal narrative of how religions collectively should be seen. What I would suggest is this. For example, you know, when you look at the wardrobe issue, yeah, about the jilbab, about the scarf, etc. You see, if I were to say to you, look, what we need to look at is address the nature of human beings. Yeah? If I were to say to you, is it natural for rapists to rape? What would the answer be?
No.
Why?
Well, I mean, rape is. You don't need religion to tell you that
What?
rape or murder are morally repugnant. Right?
No.
They're
One
just
second.
morally
No. I disagree with you. I want you to tell me why rape is wrong.
repugnant. Rape is wrong because it harms. You know, it harms its victims, or it harms its survivors.
What is the evolutionary imperative?
What do you mean?
For every evolved creature, ultimately, what would be the evolutionary imperative if it is not reproduction?
What is the evolutionary imperative? What do you mean by that?
I just said, if it is, you see, everything points to one thing only. If we are evolved creatures, we have evolved to merely reproduce. Do you agree?
No.
Excellent, good. Why do you not agree?
Well, maybe the process seen as a whole, yes. Maybe the evolutionary imperative, as you put it, is to reproduce, and over time you converge into that peak, which I mentioned about that we're complex human beings. But right now, if I were to produce a work of art, we can't possibly say that my intention was to reproduce. We've grown, like, doctrines and ideologies developed, and ideas
Excellent.
developed, and social
Agreed.
habits developed. But why would we need to rely on? Sorry, why would we need to rely on religion?
No.
Or
1
some-
second. We've gone too far, brother.
Sorry,
If I can just say to you, you see, there's a problem here. If we have evolved to the stage where we can let go of certain things that we may have done in the past, are you saying to me then, or are you agreeing with me when I say to you, in the remote distant past, rape was normal?
In the remote distance of the past, I assume rape was more rampant. It was more
Sorry?
rampant. It was more frequent. It was more common.
Was it normal?
If normal means justified,
No, justification
never
is a
normal,
process of,
reasoning, and
we can't apply that then. So was it normal?
no, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know.
I understand. I know what you mean. But
What
you
if
see,
it was
I'm
normal?
following your reasoning process to its logical
No, but
conclusion.
the questions are.
It
strangely
sounds
posed.
odd, doesn't it, brother?
Let me rephrase. 'cause
Yeah, sure.
I want to
Perhaps,
get
yeah.
from you. I want to learn from
Absolutely.
you. And I don't think like I've learned from you and maybe change my opinions and
I
and
understand,
my
I
impressions.
understand. That's
but I
fine.
don't think I can change my core beliefs. You know.
Why
Or
not?
Lack thereof.
Why not?
I could. I'm always susceptible, but I've changed my core beliefs in the past.
Yeah, but brother,
and through reasoning and through
excellent,
experience.
excellent,
But
good.
question,
Yeah.
why is it that, let's say, Islam is a very, I've read the Quran, it's a very detailed book in many circumstances. It has laws and
some very
imperatives
complex
pertaining
laws,
to
yes.
divorce, pertaining to marriage, pertaining to the way in Sunnah, the way you walk into the bathroom, the way you do wudu, the way you pray,
Yes,
the prayer
yes,
too. I mean, it's very detailed and very nuanced
Yeah.
in many ways. And
Yes.
you can contextualize it
Yes.
in other ways to read it literally, another way,
Yes.
one way to read it literally, another way to read it
Yeah.
in its context and as something appropriate at its time.
Yes.
And I understand the merit and all that, but why would one want to rely on an allegedly divinely inspired book and not relate, as opposed to falling back on their earthly human experiences?
Right.
In relation to divorce, for example, let's
Yes.
say a man divorces a lady. If the man does it halal, he has to return the
Dowry.
dowry. What's it in Arabic? The dowry. But if the woman divorces the man in the form of hana,
Yeah.
she's not entitled to any rights or very limited rights. Same
Yeah.
thing with inheritance, where
Yes.
sons are entitled to double their female counterparts. One argument is to say that, well, at the time, yes, Islam was honoring women, but times
Yeah.
have changed.
Excellent.
Why cannot not we relate our earthly
Yeah.
experiences to create laws that
Yeah.
benefit us fundamentally?
Right.
All the Muslims I know are friends,
Yeah,
all the
of course.
Muslims I know are honestly fantastic,
understood.
honourable
Absolutely.
people.
You-
And I don't mean to take down their value, but sometimes
No,
there's
problem.
there's a bit of disillusionment with
Yes.
scripture
Yeah.
to the point that they're not thinking straight.
Right. Okay.
And I don't want to.
No,
mean to offend their
don't
intelligence
worry.
or
Please
anything
be forthright. Yeah, but you see, brother, I'm going to ask you a question. Do you live in Britain?
like that. The past 3 years, yes.
For the past 3 years? Right. Okay. Do you know, in this country, I'm going to ask you an odd question here, and I hope you will be able. Are we nearly done? Okay. Yeah. If we have to journey for 200 miles yet. Yeah. But let me ask you
Sorry,
this.
yeah.
No worries. The Inheritance and Estates Act 2014. Are you familiar with it?
No.
Why not?
I'm actually a student of law.
Good.
But
You should be
I do
familiar.
I do different type of law.
All
I don't
right,
tell
okay.
my employers because they won't like it.
Right,
But,
okay.
But you can easily look out statutes and
You can, can't you? Okay,
absolutely,
excellent.
yeah.
Right. But I did say it's an odd question.
Okay.
You see, you are not familiar with the inheritance rules
No.
as contained in the English legal system.
Not particularly.
Are they complex? Are they simple? Do you know?
I imagine it's more sophisticated because
Okay.
I know in the UK there's some allowance for
Absolutely.
Sharia courts, there's some allowance for
Yeah. It's
so
not only about allowance, it is about why would we want to establish legally rules of inheritance? Why?
the whole point of law is a convergence of expectations. That's the whole, because you can use different tenets of jurisprudence,
Yes.
be it Lockean or Hobbesian, Hobbesian, to justify different things.
Yes.
That's
But the reason, yeah.
it's a course in law itself.
Right. The
Again,
reason I asked you,
Society,
yeah, absolutely. But the reason I asked you is, you see, you were aware of the inheritance laws contained in the Quran,
Okay.
but you are not aware of the laws contained in the inheritance laws of the UK legal system, despite being what you just said, working in the legal industry. Now, that would suggest to me that what we are doing is possibly looking for reasons to disagree with a particular view. Now, what I mean by that, sorry, yeah?
Like when it comes down to religion, and
Yes.
Prophet Muhammad is attributed to have said, "Ad-din mu'amali." Religion
Yes.
is attitude. Religion
Yes.
is behavior.
Yes.
Actually, if that's the core of Islam, I believe in it, and I subscribe to that. No, but like, so
Look.
I'm actually not picking apart.
No, I
Islam.
understand. Of
Trying to
course
have a
not.
constructive-
We are having a constructive.
There we go. Okay,
Absolutely.
so-
No,
so-
I don't worry. I'm not even taking it that way.
Yeah.
But what I usually say is, look, I don't mind criticism of anything, but I always make it a point that unless I'm familiar with particular aspects in comparison to what I may disagree with, I'm in a better position to understand. So if, for example, we say, you know what, I communicate with the Creator 5 times a day. Yeah? Somebody will come and tell me, isn't that a bit too much? Are you not overdoing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In comparison to what? Yeah.
Can you see? So now the question is, if there is a person who is praying 20 times a day, and I come across, and you know about the guy who does 20 times, and I come to you and you say,
As a loose Muslim. Yeah.
I will be seen to be, hey, you are not practicing it properly. Well, actually, that is not the case. Honestly, brother, I will tell you something.
No,
I'm going to give you my card.
thank you.
Sorry, that's our channel. That's me. Yeah. Honestly, we are going to be back in a few weeks here.
I enjoy
I would,
coming here and hearing
please
people's
do come.
opinions.
I would love to take
That's
this
only because of
further
my-
with you.
That's only because of my fascination and interest in
Good,
religion,
excellent.
by and large, and Islam.
Excellent, yeah, yeah.
Because I come from a
Yeah.
background of Islam.
Yeah.
But again, like saying that the law is good or
Yes.
bad is a question. A separate question is why it's a derivative
Sure.
question and a more fundamental question.
Yeah.
Sorry, a more fundamental question at heart, which is why rely on scripture? Why rely on revelation as opposed to earthly human experiences? Both of them
Simple
can-
answer.
Sorry, both of them can yield the same results.
Yes.
But I think one has a justificatory basis in positive law has a justification in attitudes and society.
Agreed.
And things over time that has been
Absolutely agreed.
tried. But that comes against
You see, I can see.
Islam,
Yeah.
which is Sharia, which is
I have no problem. Yeah, it does. But I'll tell you something. You see, if I look at the Islam, yes, I will see a social system. I will see a legal system. I will see a system which allows me to explore as much as I want the natural world. Yeah. In fact, everything you are saying as a product of experience has already been given to me. Why should I reinvent the wheel?
you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Nonsense. But it's one thing to say yes, Islam makes allowances for exploration. And
Yes,
like
it does.
In the
The
I'm
Quran
familiar with
actually, yeah.
with the even pre-Ottoman,
Excellent,
the
good.
Abbasids and the
Yes.
Umayyads, all these
Yeah.
Islamic scientists.
Yeah.
Most of them from Persia, Iran,
Yes.
Iran, but in North Africa. But it's one thing to say yes, it makes allowances, but it's another thing to say that no, it posits what the law is, it specifies what the law is.
It doesn't.
This is the inheritance law. This is the punishment for apostasy. This
Excellent.
Apostasy, you're going to raise
Apostasy,
a red flag
yeah.
and say that, yes, that is one known. But it's quite clear, it's quite conspicuous.
Yeah.
On other things, it's a bit more ambiguous, but
Yeah.
when it comes down to apostasy, when it comes down to
Brother, I will tell you something. Sorry to interject.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I can tell you very confidently, from a legal perspective, the laws of apostasy are not as simple as you think. I can confidently assert that to you,
But
legally speaking. So, if we are going emergency,
There's a
okay.
good video made by Shabir Yusuf at MMU about apostasy, which he could watch.
I've given him the card.
You've given
Yeah.
Shabib Yusuf, is that your name?
That's me.
Oh, lovely.
Brother, I do apologize. I'm going to cut this.
No,
Look,
absolutely. Lovely talking to
we
you.
will be back in 3 weeks.
And I love your attitude and your
Thank you very much.
mannerisms.
No.
Honestly, like,
Anything untoward, please do
Yeah.
forgive me, not intended.
Sorry, just one last one. There's a bridge between, let's say, the Muslim world and the rest of society right now,
Yeah.
and we see the Huntingtonian divide. You know?
Absolutely, but
But-
our effort
but
here is
your
to bring it
attitude,
back. Yes,
absolutely,
and we will.
absolutely.
God
Lovely,
bless. Look
lovely
after
chatting.
yourself. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Let's go.